Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines here. Are regulators really on the take? We're going to take a look at it. Mojoloop. Remember the Ripple squeeze play? Well, don't forget about it. We're going to get into it. David Schwartz. We got Digital Foundation. Brad Garlinghouse and New York City Mayor Eric Adams from the Milken Institute. You're going to want every bit of it. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen. Everything we're talking about here. Facebook at Digital Perspectives News, no spaces. And now TikTok at Digital Perspectives, no spaces. It's growing rapidly over there. Don't mess around. Nothing but killer content, highlight reels and clips. You're going to want every bit of it. Right now, the market's still down 1.75 for the $1 trillion market cap for crypto right now. 36,100 plus for Bitcoin. 27, almost flat, 100 for Ethereum. And at the number 6 spot is 59 cents. It's XRP, ladies and gentlemen, still off by more than 7% on the 7-day now. We see ranging between 59 cents and 62 cents. This is a highly volatile crypto market space, ladies and gentlemen, which is why I've been diversifying and why I've been telling you about stuff like this. $20 a share. I mean, it's not expensive, and you can invest in the fine art, the blue chip art, like the richest billionaires of the world have. No, you're not buying the painting yourself. You're buying a share, a commoditized share of that artwork. And you know what? Now I can, because I don't have $11.933 million laying around to buy the recent Banksy that's now available that you can buy into for $20 a share. And you know what? It's not even halfway vested yet, so you still got time. But the Joan Mitchell one here, 99% vested, got 12.4% returns on her work, outperforming like crazy of the S&P with the appreciation of similar works, just to give you a picture of what's going on. And when the market's down like this, I really am, you know what? Hold on, because I'm going to buy in this Banksy before we get going. 1 second. And there it is right there. Just to let you know, I just bought into that Banksy. I was like, I ain't letting that sit there like that because I know how fast some of these things can fill up. I just bought in 50 shares on that Banksy painting right there. I'm loving it. Let's get into the news. Link underneath the video. Are regulators on the take? I think there's many ways to interpret that phrase. Certainly we have found enough information publicly between the Twitter slews and the YouTube influencers out here to show that there is absolutely the appearance of impropriety and a conflict of interest. But listen to this quick clip here from Max Keiser. I can't believe it. I'm actually going to agree with him.
So the question then becomes, where are the regulators? Where's the SEC? And that's a really good question. It's almost as if they are part of the scam. Gary Gensler, is that true? I think so.
Yeah. Not many times you'll catch me agreeing with Max, but I think Max is on to something here. Listen, it goes to this point right here. There's enough being seen by, a small handful of congressional officials now, Patrick McHenry, Warren Davidson, Darren Soto, Tom Emmer. They understand that there needs to be some accountability here for what is going on, and certainly with Gary Gensler's overreach and overgrab of power from the SEC chair, not to mention ETHgate involving Jay Clayton and William Hinman. There is a lot here, ladies and gentlemen, and it goes even deeper than that. But that's for another day. But here, Bill Huizenga says, why are Democrats protecting Gary Gensler in the SEC? American investors deserve answers from the people tasked with overseeing our capital markets. Congress should fulfill its constitutional role and conduct oversight. Read his letter here with Patrick McHenry, which echoes exactly that. And this is what John Deaton says, and I completely concur with this. This is what we need, but we need more than 2 representatives to ask for it. Each commissioner should testify before Congress. I have a few questions I'd like to submit. There's no doubt about that, and I have a couple I could contribute myself. But let's save that for another day. But here, I want to focus on this before we move on. It's the free pass snapshot here. You know, again, I've been asking the question that everybody that was in the email chain of the email drafts for the speech for William Hinman, including William Hinman, was the free pass portion of Ethereum that William Hinman spoke on in that speech, was it in the draft prior to giving the speech? Or did William Hinman decide last minute to throw it in on top of what was already drafted? I don't know. None of us know, but we certainly deserve the answer. We do know this, though. Perkins Coie, the first free pass speech, while PC was a member of Perkins Coie, obviously, of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Hinman was a current profit-sharing partner at Simpson Thacker when he gave the speech, and Simpson Thacker is a member of the EEA, which is the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Again, Clayton's firm, Sullivan Cromwell, represented Lubin and Consensus. This is all incestual, ladies and gentlemen. This really is right now, and it's despicable. And it is why we need to have hearings, and it is why you can have these moments like myself or Max Kaiser and all asking these questions. Hey, who's all this for? Because why is Gary Gensler towing the line for a lawsuit that Jay Clayton really dropped before cowering out of office? You know, these questions are really worthy of very clear answers. This is exciting news. Don't believe it. It's still true. Remember Mojoloop with Bill and Melinda Gates? Now, regardless of how you feel about them, this is about really onboarding Ripple to advance financial inclusion throughout all of Africa here. And it's extremely exciting, and I just want to show you this as well. This has been in the works for a long time here with the launch of Mojoloop Foundation as a charitable organization to support the deployment of Mojoloop open source software. The organization's sponsor members will take on the responsibilities of providing financial, technical, and legal assistance to ensure the health and growth of the user community. Ripple has been involved with Mojoloop since its inception, providing technical advice and engineering support. Now, I want to bring you back to this because there have been a lot of Mojoloop videos that were just dropped. Shout out to Anders L for the tip-off on that. And I went through and found this right out of the gate. Take a look at this.
Without it, customers are often directly shouldering the burden. When there are multiple fees to be paid to get the money to its ultimate destination in multiple money movements, when solutions from providers behave differently and there is a steep learning curve, when there aren't strong redress mechanisms when sending money across platforms, which can erode trust when things go wrong, and when funds are held unavailable for days while manual processes resolve issues. This matters a lot to customers who live on $2 a day or less, and to micro-entrepreneurs dependent on managing their cash flow tightly. And it is part of the reason why cash is still king. That's why leading organizations with a common passion for financial inclusion at scale have formed the Mojoloop Foundation. The Mojoloop Foundation is a charitable non-profit that maintains the Mojoloop software, which delivers to its adopters an instant push payments clearing solution as a digital public good and hosts
as a digital public good, she says. That's what we're talking about. Ripple smack dab in the middle of there with the Rockefeller Foundation and Google. Come on in. Coil's in there too. Well, that a digital public good, you say? Well, that reminded me of this back in November of last year, late last year, of David Schwartz saying the exact same thing about the XRP ledger.
Less than a penny and fully confirm in less than 10 seconds. XRP Ledger's hyper-efficiency and liquidity enables developers globally to support numerous use cases, from DeFi, payments, consumer applications. And you don't need anybody's permission to interact with the XRP Ledger, right? It's a public good. It's
a public good. Well, a public good, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. It's a public good, just like apparently the Mojoloop's a public good. Check this out. Now I want to show you this too. This is a diagram of bridging Mojoloop with the rest of the world. And look what's smack dab in the middle here, a cross-network provider here. And I want to play for you the little clip here where the gentleman in the corner is talking about how the topic of conversation is not going to be about who the cross-network provider will be for the foreign exchange. Today's conversation will be about everything else about how Mojoloop works. You have to wonder if that cross-network provider ends up being Ripple and the XRP ledger as an interface there. We'll see, but take a listen here.
Back to the original payment requester. And finally, the switch records the obligations and manages settlement. Now, you'll recall that Damian said that IPID itself was not interested in settlement. In this world, it's the cross-network provider who is the debit party in the Mojoloop settlement. So nothing needs to happen in the Mojoloop scheme for settlement to work correctly, but somehow the funds need to arrive from the originating institution, either in the source currency or in the target currency, at the cross-network provider. And that is, at the moment, outside the scope of the things that we are looking at from a design perspective.
Don't concern yourself with the blue box here, which happens to be the color for Ripple too. Now, I might be reaching on that as far as speculation, but I tell you what I'm not reaching out on is I'm not reaching when they said in this demonstration that it's a digital public good, and that's exactly what David Schwartz calls the XRP ledger. So we will see. If I'm wrong, I'll make the video. Now let's change gears a little bit here, because I want to take you back to a comment from the Bloomberg interview, April 26th, just a week or so ago. And I want to take you to this one particular clip where Brad Garlinghouse says we are operating as if we've already lost. Take a listen, and then I'm going to take you on the road here. Let's go.
Our litigation analysts here at Bloomberg Intelligence think that the SEC ultimately is going to...
By the way, Bloomberg Intelligence, yeah, it's an oxymoron. It's like jumbo shrimp.
To win this. That's just an opinion. It's a hypothetical scenario. But in that scenario, how does Ripple move forward?
Well, look, I think the Howey test is being stretched beyond recognition. And again, there's a 1946 Supreme Court case. So the idea that XRP, which we use as a currency, the idea that that's a security, I think is just misguided. But look, unfortunately, Ripple is already operating in a world where it's as if we have lost.
Ripple is already operating in a world as if we have lost. And that's where I believe it comes in with Mojoloop and that cooperation there, because it's outside the United States and it's working to bank the unbanked and underbanked throughout all of Africa. Amazing, right? And that's why I believe, we understand that this public good of the XRP ledger, which can be used as a backbone to something like Mojoloop and many, many other cross-border payment systems, right? It must be legally defined, because you cannot legislate nor regulate what has not been legally defined. Hence the lawsuit, which I also believe was used as a weapon because people in the know, as Matt Kaiser talked about Gary Gensler, but it was Jay Clayton and William Hammond at the time, I believe understood that Ripple and XRP was going to have to go through the judicial process to define what it was to be out and out regulated, because I believe it will be used as a major backbone to the central banking system and beyond. But now, with that, let's move forward here. So we understand that Ripple is doing what I did. This whole, we're assuming we have lost in the U.S. already, is the Ripple squeeze play to put pressure from around the rest of the world from the mass adoption to really at some point turn it all on, because what we're really dealing with here is friction. Regulation equals friction, even when it's working like it's supposed to. I want you to hear Brad Garlinghouse's comments from 2 days ago at the Milken Institute, and it's going to go directly into the clip that I sewed up with it here from New York City Mayor Eric Adams, who I might even vote for president if he were to run. I mean, I think this guy's got it, who talks about the hidden hands that control government that are essentially, paraphrasing here, fighting innovation, U.S. innovation, because of the lobbyists behind it all, which I believe have either Elizabeth Warren in their pocket, and then by default you have the alumni to Goldman Sachs with Gary Gensler and Jay Clayton in their tenure in a regulatory division, which really caters to who? It's not the investor, because 67,000 plus of us have been hurt by the SEC's actions, not Ripple.
Let's talk about regulation.
That's friction.
Exactly.
I mean, seriously, if you think about it, like by definition, yes. You know, a regulation is partly about putting in some hurdles and roadblocks to protect markets, to protect consumers.
Can you be specific about what's there that, you know, is regulating, for example, your company, your industry right now that creates friction?
Look, I'll start by saying I think one of the great farces of what is the crypto industry is a narrative that is coming out of the SEC right now, which says this is the Wild West. As Mayor Adams described, I mean, crypto already is a regulated, and in some states more so than others. But I think the key that I think about is how do we make sure that government and regulators, certainly as Mayor Adams has evidence of going from the previous administration to this one, of partnership with the industry. I think look, we're going through a technical wave that isn't, I think, dissimilar to the internet in the late 90s. In that era, the United States government at a federal level created clarity and certainty about the rules and regulations and how, you know, what were the rules of the road. Today in the industry here in the United States, you really don't have that clarity of, you know, the rules of the road for blockchain and crypto, and that has really been at the disadvantage of the competitiveness of the United States. We can apply technologies to improve that, but it does require that partnership that Mayor Adams was just describing, because these are regulated industries, and they should be. But that doesn't mean we have to be stuck in, you know, kind of put our head in the sand and create more rules. And again, borrowing from what Mayor Adams said, we have to embrace. We can't be fearful of, you know, what that could look like, because I think what it looks like on the other side is a more efficient economy for the people the government's actually representing.
And there's a hidden hand in our government, the unelected decision makers.
There's a hidden hand in our government, the unelected. Listen to what he said. It is so profound, and I think he nails it here.
Elected decision government, our hand and hidden. There's a hidden hand in our government, the unelected decision makers, because as you dismantle the current way of doing title insurance and other things, as you dismantle that, you're going to be dismantling those industries that are eating off of this. And so when you have powerful lobbyists, you think they are saying, let's protect Americans from this new technology. No, they're protecting the interests of others from this new technology that could help Americans. And we have to be aggressive enough to point out the difference between protecting our citizenry and protecting industries that are in the way of our citizenry. And if we're not willing to do that, we are going to be left behind. No one is going to wait for America to catch up.
There it is right there. I tell you what. Whoo-wee. How about that for a first shot from New York City, Eric Adams right there. The hidden hands that control government, the unelected official decision makers. Is this not what we've been talking about? Now, this man knows. Oh, I tell you, I am becoming a fan very quickly of New York City Mayor Eric Adams here. And I tell you, you know, he is talking about these decision makers, these lobbyists really imposing on the people, whether it be political officials or appointed ones. Gary Gensler. And how they are serving who? Who are they serving? They're not serving us. They harmed us. They cost us $15 billion worth of value and stifled innovation and customer growth in the United States alone with the Ripple case. Who were they serving? Goldman Sachs? JP Morgan? They're certainly not serving us. I may not be 100% sure what the answer is or who the answer is, but I certainly believe that there is an answer, and they may be some of them. And I don't want to forget this as we go, because while all of this hidden hands of government is at play to massage the government officials and appointed officials out here to get what they want, remember, central banks, 2/3 of them are still walking towards the central bank digital currency system and building it. And we know for a fact some of them are already using the Ripple private ledger to do it. When this ends, I don't know. But I know one thing, I'm going to be here when it does. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Happy Friday. It's a blue light special on XRP. If you got the stones, not financial advice. I'll catch all of you on the next one.